Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. It is Stranglers week, wrapping it up. For today's side 3 discussion, we're going to talk about bands who lost a member and were never really able to recover from it. That relates to the Stranglers, of course, after the departure of Hugh Cornwell, their vocalist, guitarist. Never was quite the same after that. Paul Roberts was a pretty good frontman singer, but I think the albums that he was on never quite stacked up to the classic era. I guess everything is up for debate, so we'll see what you guys came up with here. What do you guys got?
Well, I'm going to go with the obvious one. Us being the Holy Trinity, being huge Rush fans. After the first album, John Rutsey left Rush, it just really fell apart. They lost all the sex appeal, all the blues, all the interesting stuff, and they became this nerdy ass prog band. And it was just never the same. They were supposed to be the second coming of Led Zeppelin, and then they just turned into geekdom. I'm also going to go with every single Yes album that John Anderson doesn't sing on. And you've got like John Davidson and Trevor Holm and Benoit, what's his name? And it's like, why are we doing this without John Anderson? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And here's one that I used to not agree with, but I kind of feel that I'm right on now, because even though I really like David Coverdale, man, I really like Ian Gillan's stuff with Deep Purple. And, it's just not the same without him, I'd have to say. And a million others after that. Rockin' a Hard Place by Aerosmith. No Brad Whitford. No Joe Perry. And it's like obvious. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people thought, but it was like, oh shit, we got to get these motherfuckers back, because we used to have a killer rhythm and lead guitar tandem here. And now we, don't, and everyone's shitting on us. Still don't think it was as bad, but really good. Let's go with one that Joe will agree with, but not think it took such a dive. Me and Jason do not care for Alice in Chains without Lane Staley whatsoever. It's just not the same. It's not even close. All of the soul is like completely gone. Cantrell, God bless him, but he can't do it alone. And then finally, no Roger Waters, no Pink Floyd, as far as I'm concerned. Even though I like Momentary Lapse of Reason a good bit, it's basically a David Gilmour solo album. Let's be honest, you can't do it without Roger. I think he's even more important than Gilmour, as much as I love, Gilmour's guitar work. You can go see Roger Waters do The Wall or Pink Floyd stuff, and it sounds closer to Pink Floyd than just Gilmour doing it. So I know those are a lot of slam dunk easy ones, but they have to be mentioned.
Well, one that has to be mentioned, of course, is Genesis, because literally everyone will be bombarding our comment section with that specifically. Genesis after Peter Gabriel, or Genesis after Steve Hackett. No, I disagree with both for the most part, because Genesis still rock with Phil and without Steve and without Peter. Maybe if you had to pick one, I would say Steve Hackett, because Trick of the Tail and Wind and Wuthering, I think, are both very good. So maybe Genesis after Steve Hackett. We'll say that's one. One more contemporary that I always bring up, Queens of the Stone Age after Nick Oliveri left. I miss the scream, the bass riffs. It lost a little bit of that dynamicism that I really love on Rated R and Songs for the Deaf. Here's one in a good way. Brian Eno, after he left Roxy Music, band got way better. So, I mean, you can't argue. Both of you have their later albums way ahead of the first two. So you have to agree. Band was better after Brian Eno left. One that was bad, Supertramp, after Roger Hodgson left, they really just fell off a cliff. I mean, they were pretty cool with the prog stuff they were doing, the dueling lead singers, but after Hodgson took off and went for the solo career, that band just got real bad real quick. And what am I on? 4? One that most people probably don't agree with, but I think the fall off, at least for me, is pretty substantial. And that's Chris Bell and Big Star. I love that first Big Star album. The next two, just I'm missing that like power popness. It gets really weird once you get to like Sisters and third album, whatever the hell it is. So I miss Chris Bell, so I'm gonna put him on here. And then finally we will do, there's a lot, but I'm not going to do one where a band member died, because I think that's not quite the same. Like, you could say Randy Rhoads and Ozzy Osbourne, but they didn't really have a choice here. So I'll do an interesting one. Alice Cooper Band, after Alice Cooper left and took the band with himself, like however that worked. Like, Alice Cooper was the band, and then Alice Cooper, the lead singer, leaves and takes the name, but they just not even close after that. The band, that was what made Alice Cooper great. So I'll throw however that worked on the list.
All right. Well, I'm not following Joe's no death rule, because almost all of mine are from deaths. I'm not a big fan of this band in general, but I think most will agree. The Doors without Jim Morrison, no bueno. Maybe less dramatic, but I still think a pretty dramatic drop off. I think The Who without Keith Moon is a very different band. Maybe not terrible, but not the same. Chicago without Terry Kath, they went down a very different path. The 80s soft rock, syrupy ballads, far cry from their glory days. I was trying to do like a singer, drummer, guitar player. For a bass player, Metallica without Cliff Burton, another band that I'm not super high on in general, but I think they definitely went away from their bread and butter after Cliff. And then the last one, this one's interesting because I enjoy a lot of the work after this member left the band, but I'm going to go with Bill Berry leaving REM. I think it changed their sound and direction dramatically, which is interesting, being just a drummer. And I don't know, Bill Berry's a good drummer, but I don't know that he had like such a huge impact on the sound of that band that it would change so much after he left, but it really did. So maybe that goes to show how significant he was. But yeah, there you go. There's 5.
Yeah. Why no deaths, Joe?
Too easy. I mean, I want bands that, you had the breakup and then the big shift, like Van Halen after David Lee Roth left. And there's a million more. The Clash and Nick Jones. We all know what happened after that. Kramzer's favorite Clash album came out. Cut the crap, Kramzer. Just cut it.
All right, everybody, let us know which ones we missed. Drop them down in the comments. There's a bunch. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out the video description, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, merch, website. Follow all the links. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.